本当に、キリちゃんのナンバーだね、だね。キリちゃんだね、ほわまんばね。That's what a Yakuza sounds like.
Are represented
Let me demonstrate.
in outlandish and spectacular ways for the sake of coolness or fun. The Yakuza canon and our experiences
Sorry,
in
I'll
its
get my
world
face off
are
in a way.
distinct entities intertwining when the game deems it appropriate. When you're playing a JRPG and you use a spell that literally destroys the
キリちゃ
entire
ん、
game,
本当に安きのまディラなんてな。
consistency.
死ぬはなんですね。
Voluntary gaminess one
キリちゃん
when
のはね。
playing a game. In Yakuza, that line
キ
is
リちゃん、
drawn
はだね。
in particular.
That's what they're like when they're about to fight.
Kiryu racing his taxi and slamming into cars is presented.
They go like,
scene as
That's
in order to
what they do when they're about to fight.
As a gameplay element, it expands and our standards are relaxed. When described alongside every
キリちゃん、
rubber bullets doesn't seem too
あ
outlandish.
なたはキリちゃんの技だね。
It's a cheap
That's what they do.
at
They do that.
absolute best. Does it ruin Saijima's character? No. Saijima is still one of my favorite characters in the Yakuza franchise, but
Yeah.
anyone saying that it has no effect on his character
He looks like not important.
through
He looks like not important. Look at that. Look at the suit.
the franchise, but anyone saying
Saijima is not important confirmed. I don't know any of the memes, so like, not important. I don't know Yakuza memes, so this is probably like everyone's already probably laughed about this. Why did you open Node.js? I just want fucking... Literally, what did I just type? Because Node.js confused me. Not important. Not important. Yeah, bro. Oh, he's not important. Alright, I got you. My name is not important. But yeah. Bruh. It's fucking not important, bro. It so is. It so fucking is. I'm right. And lots of people have probably made the joke before.
that it has no effect on his character probably hasn't thought through the identity we form around our actions versus our intentions. Saijima works to overcome the reality of his own character, only to find that reality was fake. Maybe there's some potential to explore different themes, discord between our motivations and their outcomes, but Yakuza never does that. Rubber bullets.
Oh, I've actually got something on my dick right now.
Sloppily placed plot band-aid, and it damaged the game to which it belongs. If the game can weasel its way out of that, what else is it willing to invalidate? Can I trust what I'm being shown through cutscenes? Of course, it's worth mentioning that everybody has a different level of tolerance when it comes to these things. Explain the CIA twin brother twist to a non-gamer and they'll probably see it as a goofy B-movie twist.
Yeah, that's probably the
Rubber
stupidest
bullets
thing.
And watch them laugh themselves into a coma.
Rubber bullets is like unbelievably stupid.
Is required to make the twist work in your mind, then that's your prerogative, and I couldn't be happier for you. Anyway, that's my piece. I just wanted to establish who Saijima could have been. Now let's talk about who he is.
Everybody salute of love!
Saijima. Given his appearance, you might expect him to be a bruiser, but he's actually one of the most quiet, thoughtful, and loyal people in the entire series.
If he's Maji Mazaniki, I already love him.
Even Kiryu is more tactful. Admittedly, I'm a person of very different sensibilities, so I wasn't a big fan of Saijima's character at first, but he really grew on me across Yakuza 4 and 5. In an increasingly bureaucratic Yakuza underworld where scheming and proxy wars take center stage, Saijima's brutal honesty is refreshing. As of the beginning of Yakuza 5, he's risen to power as a patriarch in the Tojo clan, and he's about to have...
And he still dresses like not important?
...in a yakiniku restaurant. That's barbecue, by the way. If you'd like to learn more about yakiniku...
Oh, bro, I wasn't paying attention.
...manga written by Junji Ito called Greased. It's the story of a family running a barbecue joint together and learning to appreciate the value of togetherness. In an effort to appease law enforcement, Saijima has agreed to serve out the remainder of a prison term he was serving in Yakuza 4. This is a last meal of sorts, just a couple of good old boys eating some tripe. Oh, foul. There's a great little analogy Saijima hints at here. Most meat becomes inedible when it's burned, but tripe just gets better. Saejima has become a big softie, getting a leadership position in the Tojo. In order to inject himself with delicious flavor, he needs the joint to char him up a bit. There's a short-lived opportunity here to explore Kamurocho and Saijima's final hours of freedom, as if the game's saying, don't worry, the city's still here. Not long after, the boys
then you go to
throw a last
prison.
hurrah at the batting cages, except that Majima brings his boys to test Saejima, like to see if he's ready to go to prison.
Guys,
Why?
move,
What will
just
you
not
do
that way,
if he
move back.
loses? Force
My
him to
skeleton
not
wrestlers,
go
what are you
to
doing?
prison?
Protect
so
me,
this part acts
bruh.
as a little fighting tutorial, which is appreciated because Saejima plays differently than Kiryu in some pretty fundamental ways.
Yeah, that's better.
He hits
Thank you.
harder, is capable of having a much larger health bar. The trade-off is that he's slow. I seem to recall finding Saijima's playstyle quite miserable when I played Yakuza 4, and starting out in 5, I had a feeling I wouldn't like him here much either. Over time though, he's become my favorite character to play. Speed is a big part of Yakuza's combat. That responsiveness you
Yakuza.
dodge or interrupt a combo is a luxury you realize you've taken for granted when you switch to Saejima. He hits hard, but initially didn't feel as fun to me. That
Yeah, I
changed
have
when
actually
realized
seen
where
this
his
prison
strengths lie.
segment, but
Namely,
I just took
his
it back.
combos can be finished
I'm
off
actually
with
up to
charges,
here, I think.
in which you hold
Yeah, I'm up to the
down
next
button and
section.
release it at
I've
full
watched the
strength.
Saejima bit.
The key to
Oh, no,
finding
not all of it.
satisfaction here is that
I
it's
watched
much
the end of the
harder for
prison
Saejima
and where he was on a
to be interrupted
sled.
by enemies, especially while charging.
So
You
I'm
still
about
take damage, but not having your
watched about 10
shit
minutes
out of that
past through,
wrist.
yeah.
Saejima
Yes,
doesn't really
man.
show anger, but it's always obvious when he's right pissed because he typically considers something like this to be beneath him. Here he's getting downright righteous in his indignation. He has just had enough. Kugihara pulls a gun on Saejima, but before he can pull the trigger, the boys are saved by Himura, their comedian cellmate from earlier. They stand here and have a heart-to-heart for a good 5 minutes. Brother, if and when the police arrive, this will not be a good look for you. Maybe we can catch up another time? Honestly, I love how needlessly melodramatic this is. We've already had our unofficial goodbyes, but nope, this is Yakuza, baby. We gotta tie a ribbon on it. At this point, you escape on a snowmobile, and this minigame is actually pretty fun. You cruise through the blizzard, trying to avoid obstacles while eventually ramming
What
into
souls?
pursuers.
Yeah, okay, I need
It's
more
unlike
souls.
RGG
How do I get more souls?
The framework for a minigame and then just use it once or twice. Usually they'll make a bigger deal
If I
out of
kill that guy,
it.
I'll
I'm
get a
not
soul.
complaining. Keeping some of their games to a one and done makes them feel like more of a treat. Keeps them from overstaying their welcome, you know? Yeah, I've snowmobiled once or twice in my life.
Kill him.
It's pretty
Fucking
basic
kill him.
technique. You just kind of have
Get
to
him.
shift your weight a bit.
Get him.
Give it a try sometime.
Give me his soul.
Eventually,
I saw that
Saejima
soul.
loses control of the snowmobile. He and Baba are separated in the blizzard, and Saijima's yelling attracts a demon bear
Kill
from
him.
hell.
Kill him, my bard. Get him.
I mean,
No, bard, no.
there's nothing to say. This bear is like, alright, you passed the test. You can go to prison now. A hunter named Okudera finds Saejima and brings him back to his cabin, where he lets him regain his strength. As Okudera heads off to hunt, we
Yay.
get a chance to familiarize ourselves with our new surroundings. Mountain Village is quite different than anything we've seen in the Yakuza series thus far. The villagers are insular, trusting neither Saejima nor Okudera. The
Oh,
massive
what?
bear
Like
dubbed
a Skyrim village?
by the superstitious villagers has been the product of Okudera's obsession for years. All of Mountain Village believes his obsession is bringing them bad fortune. Mountain Village is small, but
What the
really
fuck is
cozy.
this? This is
Totally sold
cool.
on the chilly environment thanks to all the blowing snow and some great sound design.
I have to go. Well, don't eat the yellow snow then, Saejima. Why is he just pointing?
Okudera's cabin in particular.
What? No. Take that back. What's with that dude over there? Why is he just pointing? He's just one arm up. What's is he like fucking Gold Mask, Elden Ring, Big Chungus? What's his deal? Does he just stand there all day and point up, does he? And you're just not gonna say a thing about it?
Okudera's cabin in particular feels like an oasis. All of this clutter, his hunting gear, the piping hot fire in the center, nothing beats it. Compared to the urban centers of Yakuza
Ooh.
5, there's not a whole lot to do here.
Jewel
There's
unlocks.
river fishing, which is very
I don't have any
simple,
ancient
but
runes.
enjoyable nonetheless.
Okay.
There's also a trainer here, this one being slightly more mystical than Komaki. Yeah, you bring the mountain god offerings, and Tendo, styled after Pai Mei, who you might know from Executioners from Shaolin or Kill Bill, is possessed by his omnipotent spirit. The whole thing is bizarre, straight out of some schlocky old kung fu.
Wait, what the
movie,
fuck is
but I enjoy
this?
the vibe. Of course, he's not mystical at all, but an old man trying to scam villagers out of offerings, and watching this story unfold is pretty entertaining. The track that plays during these fights is one of my favorites, and there's just some really creative ideas implemented to make these training battles a bit more interesting than the usual fare. Once you're done kicking pebbles in the village, it's time to get a handle on Yakuza 5's hunting minigame, or as I like to call it, Wildlife Genocide Simulator. Much like how early settlers hunted bison to near extinction, Saijima's bloodlust won't be slaked until every bear, deer, ferret, or rabbit in the Hokkaido prefecture has tasted hot lead. For context,
Man, I really like this game. I'm really getting into this one. I'm shit at it.
The villagers' kindness, he
I don't know the
to teach him some hunting skills, and then it's off to the races.
design conventions and standards of auto battlers.
Yakuza 5 and you gave
I'm
me
really
12
getting into this one. I like this
to
one.
Guess what kind of minigames would make the cut?
Sounds
Why
cool.
not say a hunting simulation? While simulation might be a generous word, it's as much a hunting simulation as Kiryu gets a taxi simulation. At any point, you can opt to head into the mountain with a double-barreled shotgun. There are a host of story and side missions associated with the mountain. The overarching goal is to ultimately find Yama Orochi. But there are also little treasure hunts and optional collectibles too. The environment is somewhat open, structured similarly to a Monster Hunter game. You've got these small open areas separated with
Bro, why is he 10 and why is he asleep?
There's a chance that
Whoa! Whoa!
should you choose to accept it, is to make sure that no living thing makes it off the mountain. I was gonna do my usual, actually in real hunting, you generally want to aim for center mass instead of the head. But with clairvoyance, the game actually says, shut the fuck up, Madular,
I need
just
2
shoot them in
souls.
the head. It's a simple arcadey-style hunting game. You collect raw materials from animals, which can be eaten as healing items or sold to make a ton of early game cash. With no regulations,
Everyone's
it's
like,
pretty
get him.
easy to turn
Fucking
these
get
humble
him.
survival
Yes, go and get that the one health guy. Get him.
steady
Fucking kill him.
supply of and guts for wealth.
Get the one health guy.
Stumbling blocks that prevent the hunting game from being as
Yeah,
good
fucking
as
kill him.
the
Get
first
him.
rule is that Yakuza's limited engine
Yes.
simulation. It's hard to explain because it's kind of an
Oh yes,
thing you
I got an ancient rune. Yes.
eventually you kind of understand
Gotta
what
go back to that
and
mound.
it really takes the surprise
that.
out of different aspects of the game. You know that setting up traps or retrieving
what's
animals
that?
is going to result in a text box and a fade to
Get
black.
battle horn.
Yep, there it is. I'm grateful. I love that. Saijima trying to pull the we only kill because it's necessary.
Hmm.
Give him a golden desert eagle and a cowboy hat. Let's just
Cool.
and that's what I say. The other problem
This game is rad. I love this game.
like a survival
And it's only like $5.
they never really go far enough in that direction. Your health steadily drains from the cold, which, in theory, forces you to hunt for meat, or repair these huts on the mountain, but it's not really necessary. Your health depletes so slowly that you can do everything associated with
fuck?
the minigame without ever
Yakuza-
investing in those tools.
Saijima
Also so
survival
easy to have animals that finding
map.
meat is never a concern. I appreciate just how different it is from anything we've
Yakuza
seen thus far.
Cry Primal.
Nice if the risk-reward element was more
You got a
prevalent.
rare mushroom.
It would've helped
What the
separate
fuck?
the-
It's
supposed to be
Yakuza ring.
nature, but it mostly just comes across as fuck nature. This lady has her anti-bear strategy down. Assert your dominance.
What the
by
fuck?
perfectly still and not
And letting it clip through you.
breezing through your body.
Yeah,
There's a
whoa.
side plot involving Okudera and his rivalry with Yama Orochi. Like Kiryu's taxi side story, it's an entertaining little ditty, but nothing that knocked my socks off. The story becomes more personal as you uncover the truth behind Okudera's identity, but honestly, this is Yakuza. It's gonna take more than a few plot twists to punch into memorable territory, and I didn't find the story itself particularly compelling. All of that said, I love the difference in tone you experience here.
It's
Between
pretty.
Mountain Village and
Look
the
at
hunting,
this is insane.
There's stuff for this.
You would not say Yakuza if you showed someone a screenshot of that.
A big trip, offloading your gear to the merchant. Also, you fist fight the bear again. Except
What the
Saijima
fuck?
knocks it unconscious, and they decide it would be unethical to finish it off. These
Oh,
people
come on,
abide by a
Saijima.
Strange code of morality.
They do.
Once Baba's in better shape, you can head down the
Baba
mountain
is
to
you?
Tsukimino, which is the central city of this chapter.
Oh, wow.
Much has been said about its narrow pathways, and I do agree.
Wow.
It's very hard to avoid fights here, harder than any other city, and the semi-invisible don't go
Look
here.
at that.
Well, a little immersion breaking, but I guess I just fist fought a bear, so immersion's not such a concern at this point. I imagine the engine is
Man, I gotta get-
and how it can handle vehicle traffic, so
I gotta get the rest of
from traveling through any major intersections and roadways. Also, there's police.
I gotta get the
officers
rest
on
of
lookout
the
for Saejima and
Yakuza
Baba, but they don't
games.
really do
I've
anything.
got Zero,
Provide another invisible
Kiwami 1 and
go
2.
zone that you have to skirt around.
Actually, I don't need them
If
until
you
I've
had more
finished
alleyways,
Kiwami 1 and
back
2,
roads,
do
and
I?
general freedom for the player. It
But
might have been neat
seeing
to
this, I'm like,
wander
holy
off,
fucking
stepping
shit,
around
look at
town and playing
this.
cat and mouse with Saejima.
This
But
looks awesome.
shoulda, woulda, coulda, I guess. This game is like, what, 10 years old now? Now, there is something about Tsukimino that absolutely elevates the experience, and it can be summed up in one word: comfy. As many of you know, I value comfy. I wrote a short essay on what it means to be comfy in the context of video games for this.
And now, I bet he's feeling a bit red in the cheek with how cozy games is like a SEO slot mill industry now.
Very channel. Yakuza 5 is a game that has comfiness in spades, and Tsukimino is a comfiness supernova.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I wanna...
Old, snowy city. The
That looks like
atmosphere of this area
Hokkaido.
is so tangible to me. All of the passers-by in their winter clothes. If she tried that where I lived, she would develop gangrene and die.
Yeah.
The city lights, the snow falling gently, all of these side roads that just beg to be walked down at nighttime. It's so atmospheric. I also like the sculptures in the northern part of town.
Yeah,
which is
look at
criminally
this.
utilized section.
Wow.
Yakuza 5 also has the rare distinction of being a Christmas game. Japan doesn't celebrate Christmas in the same way as the Western world, which might explain why all of the holiday stuff isn't more front and center, but in the winter wonderland of Tsukimino, it becomes clear. It just couldn't be any more comfy. So despite people's misgivings with the limiting map, I still really enjoyed my time in Tsukimino. One of the most important things in a Yakuza game for me is that feeling of just walking around a foreign environment, feeling like the world is your oyster, and the city nails that. But
Yes,
until you remember that-
exactly. This, and it's on reflection, people have said the same thing about Cyberpunk as well, which is true to an extent, but less so in Cyberpunk because Cyberpunk's actually like, you know, feels good to run and jump and shoot around and play, like from a gameplay perspective, not just from the sort of virtual tourism perspective, but that's exactly what it is, and exactly why I'm like, fuck, I need to buy all the rest of the Yakuza games. Well, because literally, it's a high quality, funny, goofy crime drama with the Yakuzers. And in between those, interspersed between the episodes of this crime drama, you have a virtual fucking vacation in Kamurocho, or as evidence here in Hokkaido during Japanese Christmas
that we are
Hokkaido.
fugitives. and
This
are
shit's
also
so
across
cool.
on every street corner. Saijima's sub-stories... There's this one where you've got to navigate an icy patch of road carrying piping hot ramen to a customer
What?
who refuses to walk the
What's with the
road.
What's with the
You've got to
guy?
navigate an
He's
icy patch of
he's
road
like
carrying piping hot ramen
the guy in the
to a
distance.
customer who refuses to walk the requisite 25
He's what? What?
feet
What?
required.
What are they doing?
I'm noticing a lot of sub-stories have to do with personal injury.
Ha
And
ha ha!
there's
We.
also this girl who's so taken with Saijima's description of deer stew that she wanders into the wilderness and almost dies in pursuit
Jesus.
of deer. What were you...
Man, okay, yeah, no, actually, fuck what I said. I do have to buy the rest of the Yakuza remastered collections, and so do you.